My name is Jean Marie Herron. I'm a certified professional organizer and the business development manager for the Junk Luggers. My mission is to improve the quality of people's lives through the decluttering of their homes and offices in an eco-friendly and non-judgmental way. If you'd like to see more of these videos, simply click the subscribe button.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and start over for our recording. So today's topic is secure your passwords for holiday shopping and beyond with LastPass. It's a password manager. Jean Marie is here and I am her guest speaker today, Deborah Davis. And this is a topic I love because I write technology articles for a website called tech-talk.com, and I do a lot of research in technology. So this is right up my alley here today. So just a quick reminder, we are recording the presentation and everyone should be muted, but absolutely jump into the chat and put questions in. Jean Marie is going to be watching that for me today, and then we'll leave a little bit of time at the end for Q&A so I can answer your questions as well. And then at the end, we'll talk about what's coming in the new year for Lunch and Learns. So today, the agenda is I'm going to show you a little bit about what makes a good, strong password. That's important, how to generate secure passwords. And then I'll take you right live into this tool called LastPass and show you how to use that. So I bet if you counted up all of your passwords, you would have over 100. I counted my personal passwords. I have like 150. I work with many clients, so I have to maintain thousands of passwords. It sounds like a lot, and it is a lot to keep track of. So let me just ask you this question. Just think in your mind. You don't need to share it. What do you use? How do you keep track of your passwords? Do you maybe write them down in a notebook? Maybe you have a spreadsheet or a computer file, or maybe you're already using a password manager like we're going to show you today, LastPass. However you do it, it needs to be secure, obviously, because there is just this huge push to hack people's accounts and take your personal information, which can have devastating effects. So let's look at what makes a strong password first, because in researching this topic, I found some kind of surprising information. First of all, you might be aware, or you might not be aware, that they're recommending now passwords be 16 characters or more. It used to be like 6 and 8, and they keep increasing that number. That is a lot of different characters. Those 16 characters should be made up of a combination of numbers and characters, like maybe the and sign or percentage sign, uppercase, lowercase, and both letters and numbers. So a real strong mix of them. Also, and this is startling, a password should be unique to every single account you have. I'm sure that a lot of us, including me, use the same passwords for so many accounts because it's just easier to remember that one password. However, think of it this way. If your account is hacked and you need to change that password, do you want to do it in one place or 50 different places? So keep these things in mind, because when I show you LastPass, it's going to make you feel so much more relieved because you'll be able to have different unique passwords for every single account. Also, it should not include, a lot of us do this, numbers from our address, phone numbers, kids' names or birthdays or pet names. So take those words out of your passwords when you're creating new ones. And this is a brand new one I learned, and I think a lot of us use it, especially in trying to create longer passwords. We use consecutive numbers or letters. We might go HHH or 4444, and they are recommending not using consecutive letters or numbers. All right, so now that I've scared you, startled you, got your attention, how do you keep track of all those passwords if they need to be very strong and encrypted so that they cannot be discovered or hacked so that your information is safe? And one of the ways is to use a password manager. Now, when I was looking at different password managers a few years ago, I went to PC Mag that had a great article, and they recommended a lot of different types. There's a bunch of them out there. Some free, some paid, some very difficult, some set up for businesses or just individuals. And I discovered LastPass, and Jean Marie uses it too. I've used it for several years, and I was surprised and happy to learn that it was rated it was rated high for ease of use. So if you're a non-techie and you're just like overwhelmed with, oh no, I have to learn a new piece of software, this password manager is one of the easier ones out there. So, all right. So how does it work? Before I jump in live to show you, LastPass keeps all of your passwords stored safely in what they call their online vault. You have a master password and to log in, and then when you use LastPass, it inserts your login details, your username and your password automatically into like a website you might be going to. It fills in also if you want it to be set up. Jean Marie, I'm not sure if you're using this tool, but you can set up your address, your phone number, shopping details. And I recently started putting a credit card number in. For a while, I was like a little bit leery of that, but I feel that it's secure. I've used it long enough to feel 100% secure. So that it logs my credit card number in, especially if you're doing online shopping. It saves time when it will automatically fill that information in for you. So it also has a password generator tool, so it'll help you create these really strong encrypted passwords and keep them in your account so you don't ever have to remember them. It does it for you. Hey, Jean Marie, just let me ask you a question. Have
Sure.
you started making stronger passwords because you don't have to remember them since you started using LastPass?
Well, thanks for putting me on the spot, Deb.
Sorry.
I have not. I have
Okay.
not. But maybe after this presentation, I will.
Okay.
I do definitely love the platform. One of my favorite parts of it is actually, you know how you talked about the average person might have, say, about 100 passwords. I definitely have that. And what I really like about LastPass is being able to sort it into folders. So for example, I've got a personal folder. I don't know if you're going to get into this. I apologize.
No,
Personal
we will,
folder. Yeah. Okay. And then I have a junk luggers folder, and then I have a posse folder because, like, for example, in Google, I might have 3 different types of passwords depending on, this is my personal Google, is this my posse Google, is this my junk lugger Google? But no, I've been a bad girl, and I will follow up, I promise.
No, I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I just want to drill home the point because, and you'll see with the way the password manager works, you can create these really strong passwords and you don't have to remember them because of it. So, all right, so you might wonder, how does LastPass work? It's not software that you download to your computer, although you can. Some people want to be able to use it offline. What it is, I'll show you how to create an account, and it's going to put a little icon in whatever browser is your favorite. You might like Google Chrome or Firefox. You might use Edge, or if you have a Mac, you have Apple Safari. So you use it through your browser, because think of it like this. You're going to be browsing a website, logging in, and LastPass is a shortcut in your browser. You can use it on your mobile device, both Android and iPhone as well. I'm going to show you the free version, though, to use on one platform or one device. It is a little bit more to use it on a phone, and both Jean and Marie and I held off before we, to kind of take a look at it first. And I really don't have a need for it on my phone at all. So you can get away with the free version and not even have to pay for it. Okay, so let's go live. I'm going to bring you to Firefox. I usually use Chrome as my browser, but that's where I have my personal LastPass set up. And for the purpose of demonstration, I created a free one so that I have some dummy account in here and won't accidentally show you personal passwords. So if you want to take the leap, and it is free, so anybody can get started easily by just going to lastpass.com. If you go to the pricing page, I will show you, we're going to be looking at the free version. They do have upgrades to paid versions that have more. Of course, they try to upsell you with really great options. And then for families as well. And they do have business packages if you are looking at it for your organization. So the first thing you do is to get started is you're going to click on that Get LastPass Free. You don't even have to enter a credit card to get started with a free account. It's going to take you to a download page after you enter some information, and you can just decide what device or what platform I use the most. And like I said, I have it on both Firefox and Chrome. So if you use multiple internet browsers for different purposes, you can use it in all of those as well. And then you just download it. And once you do that, this little icon is going to show in your toolbar for that browser. You can see it's kind of black or gray now because I'm not signed in. So it really is important. Let me drill this home to you. LastPass, you have to set up one password, one master password to get in your LastPass. And that is all you need to remember. And then you can sign in, and I'll just go ahead and put mine in and get into your account. Now, anything you do with your computer is only as safe as you make it. So if you share a computer with someone in a work situation, you're going to want to log out of your account on a regular basis so that nobody can get to it. If you're at home, nobody else is using your computer, I stay logged in all the time. So it keeps me logged in. All right, so I want to just break for just a second to make sure everybody's okay with what is LastPass before I show you how to create passwords. Does everyone understand the concept that it's a web tool and that you get to it through your browser? Okay, and if you can throw questions in the chat if you want to. All right, so the most valuable part of LastPass, of course, is setting up passwords and logging into your accounts easily. And there's a couple ways to get passwords into your accounts. You can add them as you go, or you can add a whole bunch manually. So let's do both. So for instance, I have this account at redbubble.com. I want to log into it, and I haven't added it to my LastPass yet. So I can simply click the login. I'll put my username. Gotta look at my notes and see what it is. This is just a dummy account here. Okay, so once I log in, and I'm going to click this remember me just for the purposes of showing you. I'm going to click login, and what happens is up in the upper right, wait for it, there it is. LastPass says, hey, do you want to add this to your LastPass vault? And I can easily just click add. Or I can say not now, maybe I don't want to. It's a one-time thing. I'm never going to order from them again. Maybe I don't want to. I can say no. But what I do is I do click this little pencil icon because I usually want to put it into a folder. And this is what Jean Marie was talking about. When you have hundreds of passwords, you might want to break them down into folders. And I think that LastPass gives you some of these folders just to start with. So maybe I want to call this new folder shopping. Actually, shopping's already in there, so it's bringing it up. So now I can just click add, and this is added to my LastPass vault. So I'll show you in a minute how to use it to get into it very quickly. So another way to add passwords to your vault is if you click your little LastPass icon up here, we can open our vault, or we can add an item right here very quickly. So if I click add an item, I can choose password. And they also have, like I said earlier, you can add an address, a payment card, a bank account. You can log your driver's license, password, all of these different things. Like if you have maybe a locker at the gym and you want to log your passcode, your lock in there. They have these different fields so that you can put different information in to keep it all secure in one place. There's even like insurance policy stuff. So if something happens to you, you know, all that data is in the same place. So let's just keep it simple though. We're going to add a password and it opens up this box. Now, because I'm in this Redbubble site, it automatically populated the name, but I can type in any website URL. Maybe it's, you know, mybank.com or what. I can give it a name so that it, I remember what it is. I can put it in a folder. I'll put the username, the password, and then maybe I want to add some notes to it. So that's another way to add a password. Now, under advanced settings, I don't know, Jean Marie, if you've used these, but say you're a little bit leery to get started. You don't have 100% faith or trust yet, even though there's no reason to doubt the security. The only reason your account could be hacked is if your master password got into somebody else's hands. But maybe you have a bank account or a credit account and you want to put an extra layer of security on it. You can click require master password and you would have to put in your master password to get into that website. It's just kind of an extra protection. You can also check the auto login, and I'll show you in a second what that does, and disable the autofill. Maybe you go to a site often and it's always prompting you to put information in and you don't want it, so you can disable that. You can also click this to make it a favorite so it comes to the top of your list. So the third way to add a password is I'm going to go click on this. I'm going to take you into the vault. So if I click open my vault, this is like the inside of your password area. So you can see the different categories or folders here. There's nothing under baking. I've got one under home. And these are all my little password, little labels. At the top, I could change how I want them to look. I can sort. I can use the, if I've got hundreds in here and I want to find one, I can use this little search window to find them. So another way to add a password is this little plus sign down here. If I mouse over it, I can add a folder this way, or I can come here and add a password or other information there as well. So there's several different ways. The way I use most often to add a password is as I go about my daily work and it prompts me to add a password. So now that you've got some passwords in here, how do you use it? How do you get into a website? So let's go ahead and come over here. Let's see, I haven't added Staples yet. 1-800-contacts. I believe I have that one in there. So I want to order some contacts. All I need to do is, you know, I might come to the site, click the sign in button. And up here, do you see this? It has a little number 1. So it's recognizing that I have a password. If I just click on it and go to 1-800-contacts, it's automatically going to give me my login information and log in. So easy. So I could have this, you know, 30-character password. I don't have to remember it because it's in my password in my 1-800-contacts account. So let's see, let's look at MPICs because I wanted to show you a way to auto login. So for instance, say I want to go to this MPICs, it's a photo site, and maybe I'm on google.com or whatever. Another way to get in is I can come over to my LastPass. I can just start to type MPICs or the name of it. It shows up in my list and I'm going to just click on that. Now watch what happens. I'm not touching anything. It just auto logged in because let's go ahead and if I click on this and hit the pencil mark, under MPICs, under advanced settings, I have this auto login turned on. So it will automatically log me and it won't make me click the login button. So that's another way to get logged in. Now, I know we don't have a lot of time, so let me just show you a couple other favorites inside the LastPass account. Like I said, you can add payment cards. So for instance, this is a fake account, but I can put in, you know, my Visa account. So if there's a payment form on a page, it'll fill it out for me. I can put in my addresses so that if I am at a site where I want to fill in a form, it will automatically, let's just go out to Posse here. And if we go to Jean Marie's contact site, it's going to recognize this form. So I can click into my LastPass and I can go to my form. See, I've got my home address. There's a work address. I can just click on it and it's going to fill the form info. Now, I'm not sure why it didn't put a phone number in there, but it put in an email. It put in my name. And these are questions, so it wouldn't know to detect that. But you can use the form fill that way as well.
Cool.
Yes. So, I'm just looking at my notes here to see what else I wanted to tell you. When you do sign up, the free version gives you 30 days of using all the bells and whistles so that it will, you can try things out. But like I said earlier, Jean Marie and I just have the free version and it's enough for us to use. So I want to open this up. I wanted to just give you a little tour of LastPass, what it is, how to add passwords, how to log into different sites really easily through your little master password up at the top. You can also generate passwords here. If I click generate passwords, I can say I want it to be like, well, not 41, maybe the recommended 16 or 17, easy to read, maybe I don't need it to have symbols. And a lot of times it depends on what the website requires. Sometimes some websites don't want you to use a symbol. And then I can just copy this password or click the copy and it will ask me permission. I'm not sure what that's for. I haven't gotten that screen before, but I can copy the password so that I can paste it someplace and, set up a new strong password. So I'm going to go back to, while you guys are thinking of any questions at all, I am just going to jump right into the last slide. Actually, does anybody have any questions? Do they want to come off mute?
I do.
Yeah.
So I am familiar with LastPass. I use it for an association that I manage some aspects of. But personally, I have a Mac and I use the built-in vault that comes with that. And I know that Windows also has its own built-in vault. And I haven't had any problems, and it is in my cloud. It's in the keychain. That's the program that Mac uses. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are on using the native programs to Windows and Apple.
If you are a Mac user and you always use that is wonderful. These are all, if these password managers are created at the highest level by Microsoft, by Google, by Apple, they're going to be very strong, highly tested, very encrypted tools. So there, like I said earlier, there's a lot of tools out there and you just have to find one that is easy for you to use, that fits your work environment or your home environment, and that you're happy with. I've used Google Password as well. I've actually got a couple different password managers I've tried and passwords in a few different places, but I really like LastPass. It's just a personal preference. One thing I'll show you too is if you were to move passwords from one platform to another, like say you have them in a spreadsheet or you have them in Google or something, you can use the import button and bring them all in from another platform into one place. Of course, they want to make it easy for you to move your passwords into their tool. You also can, if I'm in account settings, you can also, not account settings, advanced options, you can export them. and it wants me to put in my master password, but it will export them into a CSV file, which you can save as Excel, download to your computer, or print out if you want a hard copy as well, or to move them into a different, out of LastPass into a different platform. So it really is just a personal preference, I think. William's asking any suggestions for usernames. Usernames are half of the equation. So if these hackers, break your username, if they've already got 50% of the equation. Typically, most places you log in, they're going to use your email address, or sometimes they'll have you pick a username. The security factor is more important, I think, for the password than the username. But with LastPass, you can get creative with usernames because you don't have to remember them. I typically just use, email address and then a very strong password and feel safe about that.
Excellent. Those are good questions.
Yeah. And like I said, there's lots of different password managers out there. We picked LastPass because both of us use it. Mainly just understanding the concept of having strong passwords and using something to keep them, to store them, that is very, very secure, are probably the main 2 points that, the golden nuggets that we want you to take home.
Yeah.
Do you have anything more to add to was there anything in LastPass, Jean Marie, that you like that I didn't mention?
What I wanted to mention, and then we can just finish the slideshow, is for those of you who are still skeptical, I was extremely skeptical, even though, Deborah's been my virtual assistant for over a decade now and is a tech expert. I'm just old school. I'm just scared of theft identity. I'm scared of online banking. I'm just a ridiculously scared person. And I was a paper and pen, use a binder, A to Z, and I labeled the outside basketball skills. So if somebody ever broke into my house, hopefully they would know that was my password binder, and they would think, well, that's just baseball skills. But, and so when I decided you need to get with the program, Jean Marie, and then actually when I joined Junk Luggers, because it was getting too unwieldy, like I had too many passwords to manage, and I knew they weren't secure because I was doing what Deb said not to do. I was using my pet's name and my children's name and my address. And anyways, I moved over and I have been beyond satisfied. But for those of you who are considering, and it doesn't have to be LastPass, but something relative to a password organizer, from my organizing head, I say pick one, make sure it's secure, and use it all the time. But when I did migrate over, I did it slowly. And this is so intuitive and so smart that it's almost like the computer knew what I was doing. And it's almost the end of the year. We're going to, everybody's going to be reflecting on 2022. Everybody's going to be setting themselves up with goals for 2023. If getting your passwords organized is something you haven't done or you really want to do, you can use this slowly. Like if you were old school like me and you've got passwords on pieces of paper or an Excel file or an address book, you can dedicate X amount of time each week to saying, once a week, I'm going to do A to C this week, and then I'm going to do D to F. And so it's not maybe overwhelming. So that's all I wanted to interject, Deb.
Yeah, that's, when you start using something like this, you can do the add as you go, and after a few months, most likely you have logged into a majority of the accounts that you use, and slowly move them over. So that does bring us to, Jean Marie was talking about 2023. So, do you want to speak to the screen,
Sure.
Jean Marie?
Sure. So generally we take December off from our Zoom Lunch and Learn. There's usually too much going on for everybody in the world. So there will not be a Zoom Lunch and Learn in the middle of December. But please do join us on January 18th. And our topic for that particular Lunch and Learn is what to do for me in 2023. And it's all about scheduling yourself. So if you've got personal goals, because everybody's thinking goals in 2023, I'm going to speak to I don't mean it in like a self-care way. I mean it in a time management way. So let's figure out, I remember, there's a company, it's actually my CRM, Buffini & Company. It's like one of the largest real estate coaching platforms. And he would always say in the new year, the first thing he would do was look at the calendar for the next year, and he would plug in his family priorities. You know, what am I doing with the kids? What am I doing with my wife, etc. And I love that idea of setting up your priorities first and then filling in everything else. So we'll do a little bit of that in what to do for me in 2023. So join us.
Great. All right. So unless there's any last questions, we will let you get back to your day. Thanks for inviting me, Jean Marie.
You're welcome.
Nice.
I hope you all learned something. Oh, Stacy, sure.
Hi.
Yeah.
No, I was listening intently, and thank you so much for this presentation. I have had checkout LastPass repeating in my calendar for about a year. And so this really gave me the impetus to, okay, now I've got to, make it happen.
Yeah, just LastPass.com, set it up, and then like I showed you, it'll start prompting you. So literally take 5 minutes to set it up, and then you'll be prompted to start using it, and a little 2 minutes a day,
I may have missed this in the beginning, but what type of password does LastPass require to get into the vault?
They call it your master password.
Right.
You need to create one master password, and that is one you have to remember. Now, if you do forget it, you can set up text messaging so that they'll send you a reminder, or you can put a hint. That's the only one you would write down, stick on a piece of paper and hide it in your desk office somewhere.
Okay.
It does have to be strong. I don't remember how many characters
Okay.
it needs to be, but just, use the guidelines of upper, lower,
Right. So it can be something we recognize. It doesn't have to necessarily be a jumble.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's got to be something you recognize. However, that is going to get you into the vault with all your other passwords. So please make it strong.
A combination of something we recognize or know in our head with a bunch of, $! Exclamation point, capital letter here and there.
Yep. Throw it in and be sure, if you share a computer with someone or use different computers, to log out of your account each time, your LastPass account each time, to keep it secure. It's as strong as you use the tool.
Right. I was wondering, if it's kept open, then is it?
If you're in a work environment and you walk away from your desk for lunch and you don't sign out of LastPass and someone knows about LastPass, they can get in. So like any tool, be smart about it. You don't leave your banking, information, your credit cards on your desk, whatever. Just, common sense stuff.
Yeah. It's just me in a home office, but my kids use this computer also. But I also have to think about whether I only use it on one. If I you have it on my computer or have it on a computer and phone, like I had Evernote years ago, and that's actually my passwords are in there right now. But the folders are going to be life-changing, I think.
Oh, yeah.
For me.
And I think I would recommend, like Jean and Marie and I did, we started with the desktop and we realized that we don't really use these types of things on our phones. So neither of us, it is a small monthly or yearly fee to have it on a mobile device. They do a family plan. So if you want to add your kiddos, each kiddo can have their own free account as well. Or you can get under one master account.
And that's something that we can add on afterward.
Sure. They'll always let you upgrade to pay.
All right. This was wonderful.
But try it out with the free version is my recommendation.
Yes, I will. Thank you so much. That's my 2023 goal.
All right.
And Jean Marie, I'll keep you apprised of that. I'll let you know.
Will I see you Monday after Thanksgiving?
Yes, I will not have done this by then. But you will see me after Thanksgiving.
Excellent. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for coming.
Bye. Happy holidays.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thank you.
Remember, if you want to see more videos on my organizing, productivity, and decluttering topics, hit the subscribe button and you'll be alerted when the next one is ready.